This is sports stuff, betting stuff.
Ooh, got the boosh.
Boosh Light, Boosh Light in the house. This is Sports Stuff Betting Stuff, the number one sports betting podcast coming out of the sports stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise. I am your host, Muff, the original degenerate. I'm joined by.
I am Alex, the medical degenerate.
And I am Jim, the Ohio Homer. Am I a degenerate yet? I mean, I am Jason.
You're working on it, man.
You could be a to-be degenerate based on Ohio's sports gambling
Ooh,
situation.
degenerate to be.
As is always the case, we are going to give you some thoughts. Whether you like them or not is really up to you. You can follow us at SportsGem Muff on Instagram and Twitter, SportsStuffW/Jim Amerson Muff on YouTube, on Facebook. Interact with us, like, comment, rate, review, tickle, poke. You can give each of our picks. How many Busch Lights, Alex? What's the rating?
This show, I give it a 5 out of 5 Busch Lights.
5 out of 5. We haven't even started
5
recording
out of
yet.
5.
So
5 out of 5 Busch Lights.
Great excite. Okay, so as is usual, we will go over last week's best bets and our specialty picks before we get into the college lines and the NFL lines for this week, and then we'll give you our best bets. See where things go. Alex, I have no idea what you have here.
What?
Okay. This week we'll go in order of best to worst, first to worst.
3 and 5.
And that will start with Jim.
Hey. I hit the Alabama game because Tennessee won. I lost the Mississippi State Kentucky game because Kentucky rolled. Hit the Clemson Florida game because Clemson -3.5. Clemson handled their business. Very sad about the Ole Miss game. Lost that by half a point. They beat Auburn, but still lost that by half a point. Hit the USC game by 2 touchdowns, I think. In the NFL, the Vikings beat the Dolphins. I didn't realize that I lost the 49ers Falcons game. That was the pick of the week. Like, that was shocking. And then I lost the Chargers game by 1.5.
Good.
I wish we could go back. I probably could go back, but I want to put out the effort. And how many games I've lost by either half a point or a point?
A lot.
A lot.
Unfortunately, in Vegas, a loss is a loss.
You're right.
It's unfortunate in many cases for us. I'll go next. Jim was 4 and 4. Alex and I were both 3 and 5. I lost Ole Miss to cover 14.5 versus Auburn. I guess Jim said that was a half point away. I won Clemson to cover 3.5 versus Florida State. I lost Notre Dame to cover 16.5 versus Stanford. Go ahead, Jim. Say your piece.
Nope. Nope.
He knows it could come back around so hard on the show.
Until I get away from the 10-loss drought I'm in, like, I'm not gonna talk shit.
Okay. I took Commanders money line versus the Bears. That was a win. The fake Bears strategy is still working. Vikings -3.5 was a win against the Dolphins. 49ers, I had double doink. Oh, wait, I was 4 and...
It wasn't double doink. It was
4 and 6.
Doink in.
Doink in. Never mind, I was 4 and 6. So, Alex, you probably have a better percentage there than I think. Maybe. Maybe.
Is Muffneck opening the door?
Quick math there. Couldn't figure it out.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You were 4 and 5.
4 and 5. Oh, okay.
All right. Muff doesn't know what he's doing.
Make an update there. That was one that I was, as I was counting, didn't count right. I had the 49ers to cover 5.5, which did not win, but I took the under 44.5 versus the Falcons, and that was a win. I took the Cardinals -2.5 versus the Seahawks, which was a loss. Correct? Yeah, sounds right. Yeah. And the Chargers -4.5 versus the Broncos, also a loss. Jim and I both had heartache in Monday Night Football.
Very much a heartache. Hey, Merry Christmas. What's up?
Hi. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I also had a heartbreaking loss with the Chargers -4.5. But I had a Kansas heartbreaking loss. Kansas +9 was a loss. Penn State +6.5 was a loss. Mississippi State -4.5 was also a loss. But Tennessee came through victorious for me. Tennessee +7 was a win. And then I did a little better with USC +3.5 winning and the Pats +2.5 winning. I did also lose the 49ers -5.5. My leader wiener, the whole thing went 5-3, but there was a jumbo wiener win.
Are you gonna explain this to the novice?
Yes,
your
what I
chaos
did
is?
last week there was a cocktail wiener, which was my 4-game NCAA parlay. There was a jumbo wiener, which was my 4-game NFL parlay, and the 12-foot long was if all of them hit. So I went 1-3 on the cocktail wiener, which was not a great start, but I went 4 for 4 on the jumbo wiener. I hit Jets +7, Seahawks +2.5, Bills -2.5, and Eagles -6.
What were the odds for that? Was that like plus 1,000?
Yeah, it was about +1,000. Yeah, I think plus a
Nice.
little over 1,000. I ended up winning like $56.
Not a bad win. Not a bad win.
No,
And then obviously
All right.
the foot long lost.
yes, the foot long lost because the cocktail wiener lost.
Yeah. Which brings our running best bets record. I am on top based purely on percentages at 22, 24, and 1. Alex is in second at 27 and 29. And Jim's still bringing up the rear at 24, 34, and 1. But Jim did not have a losing week.
I know. Survived
And-
another week without adding to the deficit.
In money, he lost, but as far as record,
Did I?
Yeah. yeah, if you go 4 for 4, unless you have some money line dogs in there, it's always going to be
Muffnack, I'm gonna have to refill you.
because in theory, a $10 bet on a line is usually going to give you $9.50-ish back,
God,
not 10.
dang it.
But alas, here we are. In our specialty picks, the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week
Peppa pow pow.
was a loss. 49ers -5.5 versus the Falcons. Falcons won straight up in that one, which brings that to 3 and 4 for the year. Our Neil Brown risky pick of the week
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
was a win. Patriots money line versus the Browns, which brings that to 4 and 3. So realistically, our risky pick would be plus money, like not significantly, but it would be up probably almost 2 units. And then unfortunately, the muff parlay of death. The parlay of death.
Parlay of death. Oh, we have to talk about this one, but we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. Was a loss. Muff parlay of death has yet to win this year. We had wins in the Vikings to cover and Duke +7 versus North Carolina, but we lost the 49ers and Chargers to cover. So that one did make it to Sunday. So that was a success.
Yeah, okay.
That's about it. Alex has already gone through the leaner wiener and how that went. So there was a jumbo dog win. Does that mean we're going to continue with this, Alex?
I mean,
A variation of it.
yeah, we'll see how this all pans out after we have some discussion. I don't want to commit, but there may be a not a cocktail wiener, because the cocktail wiener left, like a Vienna sausage, maybe.
Oh,
We're going to come up with all the variations
Maybe a pig in a blanket.
of
We might, have a pig,
phallus.
we might have a pig in a blanket this week.
Maybe a lot of phallic symbols as part of the leaner wiener, I feel like.
One day I'll just have the nuts.
That'll be the big winner. Okay, so that takes us through last week. This week, we're going to go through some college football lines, get in some NFL lines, have our discussion, and get into this week's best bets. In the college football world, we're going to start with Syracuse at Clemson. Clemson 13.5-point favorites, over under set at 49.5.
I think Clemson covers. I don't think enough to put my money on it, but I think Clemson covers.
I would agree. If I was leaning, I would say Clemson to cover. It's at Clemson. Is this an early game?
Yes.
Okay. That to me is the only reason I don't feel better. If it was Clemson at night, I would probably hammer Clemson.
Yes.
this plays a little bit more into Syracuse's
Mhm.
hands as far as it's not a primetime game, but this is obviously a big game for Syracuse.
It's at noon, and I am so tempted to take Syracuse, but I'm not gonna. Be smart here.
Yeah, this one.
Mm-mm. Next, we have Iowa at the Ohio State. I will say that since you did the notes, Jim. I appreciate
Thank you. Thank you.
Ohio State favored by 29.5 points, over under 49.5.
Talk me out of this, Jim.
So the line opened at 26.
Okay.
They bumped it to 29.5. The radio pundits in Columbus are saying cover all day long.
Sounds like a little too much confidence.
I will tell you, as a realistic Ohio State fan, I'm not touching that.
How do you feel about the over in this game, Jim?
If we're saying they cover, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Iowa has, as we know, zero offense. You're saying the over? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many
looking-
points do you
you're
want
looking-
Ohio State to score?
You're looking at like
So say Ohio State scores 40 points.
Can Iowa score 9.5 points?
35 to 14. That's about the
Nope,
line you're looking at.
not gonna
I
happen.
do not think Iowa is going to be able to score 14 points.
Nope.
And who knows how Iowa's defense is going to compete the whole game,
That's my issue.
right?
So Iowa scored 6 whole points last week.
Exactly.
Against Michigan State? Or who'd they play?
Not Illinois. They scored 14 points at Michigan.
Those were all end of the game, though. They
No,
opened
no,
up
that's not
offense.
true.
So here's the reason I don't think the
No,
under
you're
is
right, you're right.
I'm afraid that there's a chance that Ohio State puts up over 50 on Iowa.
I would caution against that take,
I'm not
Alex.
I'm not taking the over.
The over's a worse take than the cover.
So you take the under.
Yeah, I probably would.
It's so unfun to take the under is the problem for me. There are games all the time where I'm like, I think the under is going to hit here, but watching a game for the under just doesn't do it for me.
It's Iowa. I think Iowa's pretty much had every under but one.
I'm not
This year?
excited. That's what I decided.
Okay.
I think that under was the Michigan game, right?
That they didn't hit the under.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah.
14-27, they lost.
Yeah, I think that was the only one where they didn't.
Total was 42. I don't know what the line was.
I'm not messing with that.
No, they hit the no. The under closed at 42, and they
Would have been pushed then.
won.
Yeah, it would have been under. So I think Iowa's hit every under then.
It's looking like it. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
They ain't hit me over. I will tell you that right now.
That was the most points they scored, didn't it? So, yeah.
Right. All right. Next we have Kansas at Baylor. Baylor minus 7.5 over under 58.5. Is the Kansas train dead?
The Kansas train for me, I think, is dead this week. I don't know. I've struggled with the Kansas train because I really want to take them plus 7.5. WVU just beat Baylor, but it was at home on a
If
Thursday
WU can
night
beat Baylor,
game.
why can't Kansas?
Exactly. No, and I agree with you. That's why I'm saying, do I stay on the Baylor or the Kansas train? The problem for me was WVU beat Baylor at home on a Thursday night. That's a different Morgantown atmosphere.
Oh, shut the hell up.
First of all, the Ohio State and your the Ohio State atmosphere doesn't have any fucking room to tell me that a Thursday night in Morgantown doesn't play a difference. You cannot tell me a night game in the shoe isn't a little different than a like noon game away.
It's not equal to
I'm not saying
Morgantown
it's
on
equal.
Thursday night.
I'm not saying it's equal. I'm saying when you're comparing, you're obviously comparing apples and oranges, but if you're saying what their height of like good home team environment is,
I tell you what, I'm not taking this game based on this conversation.
I'm arguing your point. I'm arguing your point, basically that WVU had no business beating Baylor, but they did because they had that.
Because it was Thursday night Morgantown.
Yeah, I am.
Get
That's
out
what
of
I'm
here.
saying.
Get out of here.
I rate this.
Kansas plus 7.5 is going on my card.
I
Hammer it home.
rate this conversation 7 Busch Lights, which is about what Alex has probably had. Next we have Cincinnati at SMU. Cincinnati minus 3.5 over under 58.5. A common line here in the next couple games.
I like Cincinnati to cover.
I'm just staying away because I do not know enough about either team to feel confident anyway.
All right, I'm gonna stay away because Muff.
I just don't know. You may if you
I put
kept
it in
up
there
with
for like,
Cincinnati-
hey Muff, what would you think? This was one of those Muff feelers.
if I kept up with either of these teams, I would have an opinion, but I haven't. So
Okay.
anyway, Alex, thoughts?
No,
He's still fuming.
no. He knows. He's like, I can look at his face and see that
He's still fuming.
I'm about to smash my mouse in my hand, like grabbing it, trying not to be like,
It's fine.
Alex, you could shotgun a beer and that'd be fun.
no. You know what? The thing is, I take so much.
It's
shit-
not Thursday night, Muff.
No,
so it's
I
okay.
take so much BS from him all the time about WU, and then they have a good win, and he's not going to say a single word about it.
I'd say because that wasn't the part of the conversation.
All right, next Duke at Miami, Florida. Miami minus 9.5 over under 58.5.
Dude, plus 9.5.
I really agree. I think that this is one of my leaners. Like, why is Miami getting such credit here?
No
At
idea.
at Miami.
Yeah.
9.5.
What has Miami done this year to prove that they deserve 9.5 points on anyone?
Guys, listen, these are all valid points, and I'm not going to sway you away from it.
I think you're staying out of the fray right now.
Yeah, right now, Muff's like, I'm just going to read the lines and let those two do what those two are going to do.
I'm not going to mess with this because this is one of those. It makes so much sense to take Duke plus the points, but it's going to backfire.
I'll take Duke plus points.
Hey, listen, have at it, buddy. Next, we have Purdue at Wisconsin. Wisconsin minus 2.5 over under 51.5.
This is another one I want the line explained to me.
I'm going to take Wisconsin minus 2.5 against Purdue.
Why?
Because I think at Wisconsin means something in this game. And
They lost to Michigan State last week.
I totally get it. I'm going to say this is more of an emotional pick. I just think that's Wisconsin versus Purdue, and I do not think Purdue is coming to play.
Okay, Muff.
I have Purdue plus 2.5 as a leaner.
Well,
Yeah, me too.
lean away, boys. Lean away. Next, getting into Boston College at Wake Forest. Wake Forest minus 20.5 over under 61.5.
So, talk about over-unders here. 61.5.
Again, this is another one I don't know enough about either team. Boston College's offense is what worries me about the over.
That they won't score enough.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Wake can put up points, but I don't know
Right.
enough about Boston College's offense to like say, oh, Boston College is going to contribute in this game.
That was okay. That's what the same logic I had, and I wanted to make sure I was right.
We could both be wrong, and
Right. So I'm gonna stay away because you agreed with me, but I wanted to make sure. Thank you, Muff.
Yeah. Ole Miss at LSU. LSU favored by 1.5 over under 67.5.
This is my one hammer home.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss all the way.
Yeah,
I really
Brian,
like this year.
yeah, Brian Kelly's dumb. I've said this. I'm just gonna
I
roll
think you
with it
said
now.
last week I had the same reaction.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue with that.
Can I take
And-
Ole Miss money line and make more money?
Yes.
Ole Miss money line.
I would lean with that Ole Miss. May as well go money line plus 1.5. LSU's been getting some love, and obviously, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to anybody. So I will not talk you out of any of that.
Ole Miss money line.
Yeah. I'm with Jim on that one, believe it or not.
We've
See,
agreed on everything except for the Morgantown doesn't
I know, that's literally
shit
It's-
on Thursday nights for me.
You guys had an argument that had nothing to do with your betting.
Yes, 0.
Next, we got Mississippi State at Bama. Bama favored by 21. 60.5 is the over-under line.
I put that in there just for posterity.
I would
wait.
love. I think
I
think this is a bounce back game.
Oh yeah. They're gonna beat the dog shit out of Mississippi State.
Mississippi State plus 21.
No,
It's a leaner.
no.
It's a
Don't-
slanted, it's a slanted sausage.
They're gonna kill Mississippi State.
Put this pig in a blanket, Alex, because it's going to need to be put out.
It's gonna
And
be
it's
ugly.
Slanted sausage.
This is a charred wiener, and it has no chance for survival.
It's gonna be awful. Kentucky rolled Mississippi State as far as dominating the entire game. I will tell you that Bama's gonna just make them feel their pain.
All right, slanted sausage.
If I could talk you into shit all day, this is gonna be great because I'm gonna lead after this week.
Texas A&M at South Carolina. A&M favored by 3, 64.5 over under, or 44.5 over under. Sorry.
I don't understand why it's not bigger for Texas A&M.
It's a good thought. I again have not kept up with either of these teams enough to have a solid opinion. So if you have, I will trust you.
Texas A&M is a contender. Like, they give hard games, and South Carolina is
Yeah, doesn't South Carolina typically play tougher at home?
yeah, they do. You're right.
I mean, that's about the only thing I can say I know about South Carolina is they typically play tough at home, and they usually are competitive at least once in a home game that makes no sense.
A&M hasn't been consistent enough for me to feel good about.
I agree with
'Cause
that too.
I played with it, but I think, yeah.
Minnesota at Penn State. Penn State minus 3.5 over under 44.5.
Hey, Muff, is this a slap in the face to you?
No, because if you think about this adds up. If Ibrahim's playing for Minnesota, Michigan just torched Penn State on defense in the run game. So, I mean, it actually sort of adds up to me. And there's the unknown of, is Sean Clifford too old to play, or is Drew Aller going to be the starting quarterback?
Sean Clifford is a joke, first of all. A joke, a pansy. Let me just say that right now.
Thanks.
James Franklin is a moron. Put that out there.
That
But
being said, what do you think?
I would take Penn State with.
Penn State might be a sneaky sausage for me.
Will you quit saying hot dog references?
Nope, because it bothers you.
Stay leaner.
I will
And
be
by the
doing
way,
nothing-
do we know that South Carolina beat Kentucky?
I mean, we know now.
Is that accurate?
Is that without Will Levis?
And they're coming off a bye?
There you go.
Huh.
There's all the reasons for you to feel a little bit better if you were
Yeah.
inching towards South Carolina. Reasons to stay away if you were not.
Fair enough.
Kansas State at TCU. TCU minus 3.5 over under 54.5. Hammering TCU.
Yeah, I love TCU in this game.
Which is, you know what, that helps me feel even more confident
Right,
because
like-
you're typically a Kansas State lover.
I know I've been a Kansas State homer this year, but TCU is a good team. TCU did lose a heartbreaker to Oklahoma State, but TCU is a good football team.
Oklahoma State top 5 team, right?
Yep. I messed
No,
it up.
they're not now.
I mixed
not
it
now.
up. I mixed it
Right.
up.
Oklahoma State
TBT.
lost.
Yes, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
TCU,
but yeah.
They went to overtime. They were tied. It went to overtime. Oklahoma State's a good game. Oklahoma State's better than Kansas State. TCU wins this game by a touchdown. Give me TCU.
There's your Big 12 take. Pitt at Louisville. Louisville minus 2.5 over under 55.5.
I want to take
Uh,
Louisville in this just because I hate Pitt, but I'm not going to.
I like Pitt.
I have no comment.
All right.
This next game's, I think, maybe the game of the week.
Oh,
No, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. I'm saying it's the game of the week as far as what we're gonna watch.
no. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just-
Let's get through
What
this.
is? I will be interested to hear what Jim's game of the week is if it's not this.
UCLA at Oregon. Oregon minus 6.5 over to 71.5. Give me UCLA plus the points.
Go ahead, Jim.
You're taking UCLA plus the points?
Yeah.
Why?
UCLA is an undefeated Pac-12 team, and Oregon is somehow favored, unless whatever UCLA's quarterback's name's DTR, DJR, whatever his acronym is, unless he's not playing for some reason, which I'm not aware of. UCLA, I think, is I've said this on Sunday. UCLA is the team, and I think they can roll to the playoff.
give me UCLA. I'm not betting his best bet, but there's a good chance I will sprinkle on UCLA money line in this.
Okay.
What do you have a comment, Jim?
I'm gonna let it go. I don't think that's first off, I just don't think it's gonna be a game anybody watches. I don't think it's gonna be a good game.
So my question is, what is the good game this week?
Ole Miss LSU.
For what though?
I'm not gonna give you the credit. I don't think it's a good game. So
No, I get it, but like, what does UC? Okay, I agree with you. Ole Miss LSU will be a good game. I want to watch it that whole night. But UCLA Oregon has a more impactful.
yeah, I agree.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you're looking like last week, okay, we had Tennessee, Alabama. To me,
Yeah.
that was the game of the week. That's the one that made the difference.
Yeah,
This week, there is no other bigger matchup in their conference that makes a difference than UCLA.
I agree with you.
Okay. And I agree with you. That's another good game that I'll be interested to watch. But when I'm thinking game of the week that matters, UCLA, Oregon. And I like UCLA to win this game. I'm gonna sprinkle a little money, not counted towards my record, on UCLA money line.
Speaking of games of the week, WVU at Texas Tech. Texas Tech minus 6.5 over to 65 and a half.
Confidence, Muff.
I'm going to take Texas Tech. I'm not going to hammer it home, but it's not on a Thursday. So according to Alex, Texas Tech has the advantage
Honestly,
and will win.
I'm not saying I'm rooting for WVU, obviously, not putting my money on them, and I will not fault you if
Well, you can't because it's not a Thursday.
Well, it's not. You're right. The chances WVU has, that's not a Thursday home game. First of all, it's at Texas Tech. It's in Lubbock. And it's not on a Thursday. I will agree with you that the odds are not in WVU's favor like they were against Baylor.
Okay.
Kim Muff's like, I'm done with the argument.
Northwestern at Maryland. Maryland minus 14.5 over under 50.5. I would lean Maryland just because.
Why are we not all hammering Maryland in this?
Because Maryland has not been consistent the last two games.
But has Northwestern ever been consistent?
I'm not betting on that game.
I'm not either, but I'm saying this game is weird. Why?
That's the one to bite you.
Yes. Why is Maryland over 2-touchdown favorite?
Because Maryland's given up.
Yes. Again, why is Maryland an over 2-touchdown favorite?
You two are on the same side of this.
Because
That's what
on
I'm saying.
paper,
Yes, we are. We're on the same side of
on paper, they should be the outright favorite by that much. Like that is, they play good. They've had a solid season, so
When
they
we're
should be
betting-
the favorite that much. But
when we're
like
betting-
in realistic, like when you watch them play, nothing says that's going to happen.
Nothing says they'll beat anyone by 2 touchdowns. So why are
Right.
we putting money on Northwestern? For the same reason. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
making the point, the talking point that both of these teams, the clear pick here should be one way or the other. Either Maryland's given up, so we're taking Northwestern, or Northwestern's given up, so we're taking Maryland. But they've both given up, so we don't feel confident taking either.
Yeah, I agree.
Marshall traveling to a ranked James Madison squad. James Madison favored by 12.5 over under 51.
That's number 25, James Madison.
No, they dropped out.
Did they?
Yeah.
No, they're
Yes,
still
they
ranked.
did.
They're still ranked in my book.
Okay.
They're number 25.
They were last week
No, they still are in my book.
in your book or in real life, because
In my book. Obviously not in real life.
number 25 is now Tulane.
Right. See, James Madison all the same.
Give Tulane credit where credit's due. James Madison dropped out after their game after Georgia Southern. I want to take Marshall because of the West Virginia bias.
Because of the real West Virginian team?
But first of all, here we go. You're just trying to stir this pot tonight, man. And you know that I'm just on the edge enough that I'm going to let you stir it. No, I would love to take Marshall plus 12.5. It's reasonable. I think James Madison wins this game. It's at James Madison. James Madison is ranked. They're obviously not a bad team.
They're ranked now.
They are not anymore. I said they were ranked. Marshall.
This is a good episode right here.
Marshall beat Notre Dame, so we all want to jump down the Marshall train.
I've always been on the Marshall train. Thank you.
Oh, I love Marshall. Don't get me wrong. I hope
Put
Marshall.
that on the
I
record.
hope Marshall. I do. I hope Marshall wins every game
Except
unless they
against
play.
WVU.
But they don't play WV this year, so I would love for them to go undefeated. But basically, what I'm saying is, I would take James Madison here.
BYU at Liberty.
Liberty.
BYU played favored by 7 over in 57.
Give me,
I lean BYU.
yeah, I lean BYU pretty hard too. I'm gonna get BYU versus Emu.
Emu will get you.
Emu.
Thoughts, Jim?
Give me BYU.
All right, Washington at Cal. Washington favored by 7.5 over in 56.5.
I like Washington there.
I'm not touching Washington ever again.
I'm staying away.
I'm still a
This-
school mistress.
Okay. All right. That wraps up college football. Very interesting college football discussion. I'm glad we can get out of that so we don't have to talk about West Virginia schools anymore as far as in the Division I situation. Final thoughts?
Only go to Morgantown on Thursday night, apparently.
If you want to watch a football game, that's best night to go.
Okay. Brings us to the NFL. Thursday night football. Saints at Cardinals. Cardinals -2.5 over in 43.5. I'm back on the stay away from Thursday night games.
I'm back on the Saints +2.5. I don't know why, but it feels good.
That's good.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Why wouldn't I mean like I'm doing it because it's fun. Like it's a Thursday night game. What else do we have to watch?
I'll watch it. Doesn't mean I'm a bet on it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm taking Saints +2.5.
Okay. Lions at Cowboys. Cowboys -7 over to 48.5. I'm assuming.
I would love to take the under here.
Where's it at?
Cowboys. Jerry's
Jerry
World.
Yeah, it's 47 or 48.5. Yes.
No, that's 48.8 is actually the same thing.
Thank you, Muff.
I love the under here, to be honest, but I don't bet unders, so I'm not going to take it.
Right,
I'm
there's-
staying away from it. I broke the Lions situation. I'm out of that.
Well, and who's starting at quarterback for the Cowboys?
Should be Cooper Rush, but it'll probably be
Right.
what's his nuts.
Dak.
I know. I just feel bad for Cooper Rush. He's had a good. I don't know why I feel bad for him. He's making a ton of money for a couple games, but he held the fort down. So part of me says, what has Dak done in the last few years? I know this isn't that show, but what has Dak done in the last few years to earn that spot back like that?
He's making a lot of money. That's how.
Exactly. You're paying him money for nothing when you can pay Cooper Rush nothing for 4-0.
Say la vie. Colts at Titans. Titans -2.5 over under 42.5. I'm gonna take the Colts plus the points.
Plus points here.
You both are on that, and I'm just like, no, thank you. Why? What makes you want that?
So the things that don't make me super confident are what's the running back situation in Indianapolis. Things that make me confident is Matt Ryan has had a couple solid games, which should lead to this is a bad game, but I'm going to ride that train until I'm not going to say I'm going to take Colts every week, but against like or inferior opponents, I'm going to stick with the Colts for the time being. I think the Titans are an inferior opponent in this game, and I don't like them to cover, so I'm going to take Colts plus points.
Fair enough. I'm not.
Giants at Jags. Jags -3 over under 41.5. Why in the hell?
Give me the Giants.
But why are the Jags even favored?
Yeah, I have
Give
no
me-
idea.
Is there an injury, Jim?
Is this wait? Can we? Never mind. Don't bring
You
it up.
called it a typo?
No. I wasn't going to. I was going to say that I think we might have a pick here.
Is there an injury situation we don't know about the Giants?
I don't know. I just typed the line,
First of all,
buddy.
unless Saquon Barkley's out, there's no injury situation for the Giants that makes me feel like the Jags would be favored in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Do a quick
I think
look
the
at
more
the
Jim
injury
and I
report.
argue, the more we agree. Because I think we're the same like argumentative person where we want to argue the opposite side. So when we argue, we're both arguing the same side, really.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we had that talk. While Muff looks up the possible injury report.
Saquon is questionable.
Yeah, he
He's
got
a limited.
quote unquote injured last week for a play, and they made a big deal about it on Red Zone. They're like, Saquon Barkley got injured on the last play because he's always injured, and then he goes back playing 2 plays later.
Yeah, he was a limited participant in Wednesday's practice.
Yeah,
So
probably a limited participant in every practice because they're afraid he'll get hurt at practice.
that's fair. Next, we have Browns at Baltimore. Baltimore minus 6.5 over under 45.5.
I hate. To
I want the Ravens.
I hate.
I want the Ravens, but they lose all the time at home.
No, I hate to say it, but I agree hardcore here. Give me the Ravens on best bet. Baltimore minus 6 by a touchdown, 1 touchdown. Yes,
They lose at home.
I don't care. Give me the Ravens by a touchdown.
I would lean for the Ravens in this game. I mean, everything in this says that Jim's take on Jacoby Brissett is the deal breaker.
I agree.
So I will not. I'm not going to contend with that take, Jim. So take away, buddy. Falcons at Bengals. Bengals minus 6.5 over under 47.5. Falcons coming off a win.
I don't know that the Bengals can cover. I think they'll win, but I don't know if they can cover.
Yeah, I'm not touching this one.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with it. How's the Bengals rush defense, Jim?
Not the greatest.
So that should give a little positive vibes towards the Falcons in this one.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm like,
Yeah. Next, we got Packers at Commanders. Packers minus 4.5 over under 41.5. Packers to cover. Hammer at home. Commanders going to Taylor Heineke at quarterback. Carson Wentz is out. And I think this is a game where Aaron Rodgers shows out.
That might be an improvement for the Commanders.
It possibly could be, which is maybe why this isn't a bigger line.
I'm not touching it.
Okay. Bucks at Panthers. Bucks minus 10.5 over under 40.5.
I don't think the Bucks cover.
I'm nervous about it. I'm not touching this game either for that reason.
Right. The Panthers are obviously in a crap QB situation, but the Bucks have not necessarily showed out on offense either.
Yeah,
Right.
and Tom Brady stirred up the effing pot
Today. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not bringing that up, but spoiler alert, I feel like we're gonna have to talk about that at some point.
On Sunday. Next week's next Monday's episode will have
unpacking.
Yeah. Texans at Raiders. Raiders minus 7 over under 45.5. Give me the Raiders to cover.
Yeah,
I think the Texans sneak up on you on that one.
Sneak away. Still taking the Raiders.
Okay.
Jets at Broncos. Broncos somehow favored by 1 over under 38.5. I want to take the Jets money line. I really do.
I do too.
I'm doing it. There we go. Jets money
With
line.
dude right now, that could be money lines. That's the problem. That's what I was getting at earlier.
Jets money line. Give me it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
There we go.
And next we have Seahawks at Chargers. Chargers minus 6.5 over under 51.5. The Chargers, I don't trust Justin Herbert to throw the ball down the field.
Nope. After that last situation, Monday night game.
And
Yeah,
the Seahawks have been scoring points, right?
Yep. Well, with
So-
Geno Smith, the quarterback, how could you not score?
Fair enough. Chiefs at 49ers. Chiefs minus 2.5 over under 48.5. I think this is an interesting game to watch. I do not want any part of the betting world, though.
Yeah, I don't have a bet in here.
Yeah.
No.
Steelers at Dolphins. Dolphins minus 7 over under 44.5.
I also
Um,
don't have a bet on this. Is Tua playing for sure?
Right.
Supposed to. Technically, last week he was cleared. They held him out, and he was supposed to play this week against the Steelers. If he plays, as a Steeler fan, I still say Dolphins -7. If he does not play, I don't want to take anything here.
Yeah, I think the Q and what's the Pittsburgh QB situation?
I would guess that Kenny Pickett will be back in.
Concussion.
I know, but how bad of a concussion?
I do not know.
You're the
wasn't-
medical degenerate.
It wasn't a staggering concussion. But he did meet protocol, and I respect them for taking him out. But I think Kenny Pickett plays this week. I may be wrong. Even if Kenny Pickett plays, if Tua plays, and they're back at like full strength Dolphins mode, I don't feel confident enough to tell people to put their money on the Steelers. But I'll be rooting for him, obviously.
Bears at Patriots. Patriots -7.5 under 38 and 39.5. Still fading the Bears. Give me the Patriots to cover.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
over here.
Can we discuss why? Like, we just kind of glanced over the Chiefs, and like we all were like, yeah, no. But like the 49ers are depleted injury wise,
Especially on the defensive side of the ball.
and Jimmy G did not have a good game last week. The Chiefs look good. It's
Right. I mean,
only
the Chiefs,
2.5,
Chiefs lost, but they lost to the Bills.
and it's only 2.5.
Right. If anybody wants to take Chiefs to cover, you will have zero.
Why
resistance
aren't
from me.
you?
It's a line that just seems too simple to take. And this is play checkers. It makes sense. Take the move that's in front of you and make it. There's some reason I just don't feel good about it, and I don't know why. I'm just gonna stay away.
Alex, what are your thoughts on this?
On the Bears Patriots,
Yeah, no, this is the Bears 49ers.
You mean Chiefs?
Yes, Chiefs 49. What do you think about that?
Chiefs
Why?
against the Bears.
No, Chiefs 49ers.
I'm sorry. Okay, you had me lost for a minute. I have to pee, so I was just thinking about peeing. I'm not even gonna lie about it. The Chiefs -2.5 would be my probably take based on what I saw last week. So recency bias. The 49ers looked like a worse team than the Chiefs.
Okay.
Recency bias. If you'd asked me this any other week, I would probably not touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Okie dokie. Well, that brings us to the end of the college and NFL lines. If you're listening, there'll be a brief pause.
Sorry, guys, I got to take a pee break. I'm just gonna be. Let's just rip it off.
It's a P2P. So coming back at you on the other side, and we're on the other side.
We are.
We have a PP in the potty break.
We did.
Which brings us to our best bets. Let's stay in the same order. So Jim, Buff, Alex.
Yep.
I'm going to take Duke plus 9.5 over Miami. I got talked into this. TCU -3.5 against Kansas State. I'm not going to do this. I'm taking that out
Okay.
under the spite rule. I'm going to take.
Are you spiting against me?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I'm going to take Oregon -6.5 over UCLA.
Is that spite?
No, I did the research while everybody was talking. That's why I was distracted there for a little bit. I just think Oregon will beat UCLA. I'm taking Ole Miss money line against LSU. I'm taking the Giants +3 over the Jaguars. I'm taking the Jets money line over the Broncos. I'm taking the Chiefs -2.5 against 49ers, and the Patriots -7.5 against the Bears.
Okay, my best bets. I'm going to take Wisconsin to cover 2.5 versus the Boilermakers of Purdue. I'm going to take TCU to cover 3.5 versus Kansas State. UCLA plus the points 6.5 taking on Oregon. Colts plus the points 2.5 taking on the Titans. Giants plus the points taking on the Jags. Packers to cover 4.5 versus the Commanders. Bum. Raiders to cover 7 versus the Texans. Jets money line riding against the Broncos, and the Patriots -7.5 versus the Bears.
All right. So here's my issue right now. I have, I don't know how that one went away. I have 9 picks, and I've been sticking with a solid 8, and have been going at least, I've been winning money with 8, but I think I have to up it to 9. You know what? No, I'm going to take one out. All right, 8 picks, 8 best bets. Duke plus 9.5 at Miami. Ole Miss plus 1.5 at LSU. TCU minus 3.5 versus Kansas State. UCLA plus 6.5 at Oregon. BYU minus 7 at Liberty. The Giants plus 3 at the Jags. Baltimore minus 6.5 versus the Browns, and the Jets money line at Broncos. But never mind. I'm gonna let it go.
Letting it go.
Talk
Okay.
about
Which brings us to our best bets, which for any new listeners, we have the Mike Allstott Hits Tick Pick of the Week,
Pow, 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 pow.
which is our most confident pick, which has not yielded great results, but we're still going to keep up with it. Toss the Giants plus the points.
I like it. So here's our okay. Yeah, I think that our risky pick and our Mike Allstott are going to be similar. Not similar, but I think they could be interchangeable.
Could be. It could be. Jim, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. And the Neil Brown Risky Pick of the Week
Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
is the Moneyline Dog that we think is going to be a winner. We're also on Jets.
That's what I'm saying. I think that we could go Jets or Giants as our.
I also have the money line Ole Miss game.
Oh, I don't want to go into college for that.
Okay,
I'm just looking at common picks.
you vetoed my pick, so
I didn't veto. I just said I'm
you
not
just said that
supporting
you
it.
don't want to do it. That's okay.
That's-
I'm
I don't
okay with-
because I don't want to
I'm
do it.
okay with either. I'm gonna let you two battle it out. I'm okay with either. I'm okay with Jets or I'm okay with Ole Miss.
Speaking that we're all on the Jets money line, Jim.
I don't want to put the Jets in a specialty pick.
Why? As a
Muff
risk-
knows.
We've
I
done
don't want to give the
Jets-
Jets any credit.
We've done Jets so many times for risky.
Yeah, when they sucked.
Now that they're good, we don't want to go with them.
Now that we're good, we don't want to give them credit. We wanted to give them credit when they sucked. It was
Put the
easier
Jets
to
in
say,
there.
"Oh, wow, you had a good week."
Put the Jets in there. I'm okay with it.
Okay. Jets money line taking on the Broncos in the risky pick of the week. The parlay of death. I think we have some discussion to have here.
Are we putting it to bed?
Who lost? Me,
Oh yeah, we're doing that.
me,
Yeah.
and
Didn't I have the
no,
winner?
here's the question: the Mike Allstott lost.
That's
do we
true.
switch it to the Neil Brown.
Ooh.
Yeah, Neil Brown goes in.
Neil Brown goes in.
Yep.
I go out. So it's Neil Brown and you two's picks for the Punisher parlay.
Of death. That's true. Man, I'm
Yep.
glad we made this rule.
Me too. I like it.
All right. Jim, you're you first.
Go ahead, Muff.
Okay. I'm going to toss in here the Patriots to cover versus the Browns, -7.5. Or the Bears, rather.
That's fine. I'm gonna put in the TCU game. Muff, you're in the wrong line, buddy.
Am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy. It's some sunglasses. They messed you up.
He wears his sunglasses because his future is bright.
That's true.
Thank you, Alex.
That's true.
Okay.
So is it's the 3-line parlay?
Just the 3. Maybe with 3 we can win because 4 has
That's
not been
true.
successful.
That's true.
All
All
right.
right. So our specialty picks
No.
before we get into Alex's pick, Alex's parlay of Wiener. We have the Mike Allstott Hits Tick Pick of the Week.
Pow, pow, pow.
Giants +3 versus Jaguars. The Neil Brown Risky Pick of the Week.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Jets money line taking on the Broncos, and the Punisher parlay of death now
Yep.
is a 3-leg parlay. Jets at Broncos, Jets money line, Patriots to cover 7.5 versus the Bears, and TCU to cover 3.5 versus Kansas State.
I think we'll hit that.
I think I'm throwing in another one.
No. This is your
Alex's-
own thing then.
It is my own thing. You don't have to bet it. It's my own thing.
Okay, go ahead, Alex. Do your thing.
Alex's slanted sausage. We're gonna have a Vienna sausage first.
It's called a lilt.
The Vienna sausage is gonna be the Kansas plus 7.5 at Baylor, Purdue plus 2.5 at Wisconsin, the Mississippi State plus 21.5 at Alabama, the Penn State minus 3.5 versus Minnesota. That's your Vienna sausage.
Okay.
Your breakfast sausage is going to be the Colts plus 2.5 at the Titans, the Patriots minus 7.5 versus the Bears, the Raiders minus 7 versus the Texans, and the Seahawks plus 6.5 at the Chargers. And your bratwurst will be all 8.
Do you bet all of this?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like if you're telling people to do this, I just want to make
No,
sure
I
you're
put
backing
money
this
on it
up.
all last week. Yes.
Okay.
Alex is up in these picks because Alex
Yeah.
hit
The
one of
jumbo wiener
parlays.
hit last week, Jim.
So,
That's why I'm not sure why.
Alex,
If the jumbo wiener trend is on board, then technically the breakfast sausage should hit this week.
Alex got 2 more weeks before Alex is in the red. In
Yeah.
these, so
Fair
Alex,
enough.
it's going to ride this out. I will tell you what is going to happen after these picks. There's going to be heartburn galore.
So you need
Yes.
the Vienna, the breakfast, and the brats.
All right.
Brings us to the end of Sports Stuff Betting Stuff. As always, engage us on social media. Let us know your thoughts. Do we suck? Are we good? Is Alex's sausage going to be slanted? Is it going to be lilted? Is it going to be straight? Is it going to give you heartburn? Assuredly. But one thing we do know is at the end of the week, it will be time.
Unless you're Morgantown, then it's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday, and it's about damn.
Damn.
Time.
I've